Hello, and welcome to another episode of JC Live. I'm your host, Dwayne Dunleavy. And as usual, I had a whole group of guests planned to come on and they had to cancel. I had one person, but I don't know if they're going to come on late or not. But that's the way it is. Parents with kids in the business have to be ready to go at a moment's notice for auditions, for bookings, that type of thing. So hey, that's the way it goes. But I still want to give you guys some useful information. If you are a parent who is looking to get into the biz of entertainment and have a kid who's under 18, you are actually the CEO of that business. And it is a business. Keep that in mind. Sometimes people, kids, adults, everybody sees what they see in the movies on Netflix and in commercials, and they think that it's a glamorous, fun, and exciting business, which it absolutely can be. But there is a certain amount of hidden information, and it has to be that way because as the viewing audience watches, they don't want to know what's going on behind the scenes. They don't want to know the hard work that's gone into making that production a success or suitable for consumption. So, once you start getting into the business, you start to realize how much of a business it is and how much work is involved in creating series and commercials and even getting those jobs. Now, if you have a child, of any age from, let's say, 5 and up, I mean, there are children who are less than a year old who are working in the business. You've seen them on baby commercials. In all types of stuff. Obviously, that's not a common occurrence all the time, but it is a possibility and it does happen. But we're talking age, basically age 5 and up. If you've seen a child in a movie, in a TV show, then you know that they tend to focus on the children in a way that kind of makes them I don't know. When you see a regular child, talking, moving, you're not shocked in any way. A lot of times you'll see a 5-year-old, a 6-year-old, a 7-year-old saying things that they've been taught to say from their script and whatever, and it seems much more grown up. Those are some of the things. Now, what I'd like to do is if you are someone who has not yet gotten your child into the business, but you're thinking about it, there are all different types. Now, a lot of people think modeling and acting are the two things that you have to do, but there are different types of modeling, there are different types of acting, and especially for kids. Now, the first thing you want to do if you are a person who wants to get your child into the business is you've got to do some research because each state has their own rules that apply to the children in the business. And one of the places that I found that you can go in order to look up what those laws are in your area is sagaftra.org. SAG-AFTRA is the Screen Actors Guild, which combined with the American Federation of um, TV, radio, and something. That is what SAG-AFTRA stands for, and it's the unions. So you can go on there to find out all types of information and find your state. Now, there's also on there a really cool map, and the map actually shows you your state and it will tell you exactly what you need to do and what's available to you in your state. Now, I did take a picture of it, but it's not coming up. So you can go to that website, which you can see right there, sagaftra.org, and just look for the map and find out where your state is on the map and what is available to you. Now, I thought it'd be really cool. Now, that's the first thing you need to do. Do a little bit of research about where you live and what laws apply to your child on the set and off of the set, because there are other things that you need to be thoughtful of. For instance, there's something called the Coogan Law, which was a law created for an actor back in, I think, the 20s or 30s, Billy Coogan, I think his name was, whereby if a child actor is in a movie and is earning a certain amount of money, you as the parent are required to start a bank account for that child and or trust. Now, I don't know all the details. I'm not a lawyer, but again, that's part of the research that you need to be doing if you're getting your kid into the business. Now, what are some of the jobs that are available to your children if they do get into the business? Well, print modeling is something that seems to be the number one thought that comes to people's heads. Oh, my kid can be in a magazine, or, print is, still photos of your child. It's magazines, newspapers, advertisements, packaging. Um, Actually, there are different ways now that things kind of get proliferated. So through the media, through internet, and all of that. So contracts are something that you're going to have to start to look at as well. Now, fit modeling is something that we often don't think about for children. It's usually something we think about for late teens, early 20s. A fit model is a model that goes in for the designer and actually tries clothes on to see the fit of the actual clothing. Now, that is a good job. It's not, there's not a lot of those jobs around, but if your kid does actually get into that and fits the requirements, it can be good. It doesn't pay that much money, but it's a good amount of money until you grow out of the size, of course. So there's the downfall to that. Runway modeling. Now, contrary to popular belief, there is not that much runway modeling available to children. Um, when it comes to fashion week and all of the stuff that's happening around fashion, children make up maybe 15 to 20% of that entire thing. So if you are really focused on your child being in runway, do some research in that area. There are right now only a couple of designers that regularly use children on runways. It does happen though. You can see the videos. We show the videos so that you can kind of get an idea of what it seems, what it looks like, and what it might seem to look like outside of being in the business. But like I said, people tend to really focus on the glamorous and great parts of the business, but they don't realize everything that goes into it. And that's one of the things I'm kind of always telling people in sessions at JC is that, you know, we all have been. Trained, if you will, to be consumers of entertainment. We've been trained on how to watch TV and movies and commercials. What we haven't been trained on as the general American public is how and what goes into creating those types of things, movies and commercials and things. It's a lot of work, it's a lot of time. Commercials, of course, are one of the biggest ways that you see actors working because we all see commercials, whether we're streaming or watching TV. Commercials are what brings in revenue for either stations and or the products that they are representing. So it's really important that based on what your child's journey is, and of course that can change. You can start with the thought that your child might be good for print modeling and then move into, oh, well, maybe runway is where they would really flourish, or commercials. We tend to think any commercial will make you lots of money and you'll be rich and famous, and that's not the way it works. Usually national commercials are where the real money is. National commercials as opposed to a local commercial. Let's say in your area there is a an automobile manufacturer or sale retailer who is looking for a family to be in their cars for their photos of their uh, let's say billboards and marketing literature. You can end up being a model, your child can end up being a model in one of those types of things and maybe make a couple of $1,000s. It's not too shabby for a day or two of work. But the national commercials is where the big money is. Now, if you or your child, let's say, play in a commercial as an actor for a well-known product, let's say a cereal, for instance, and that commercial films over 3 days. Your child goes in for, let's say, 8 to 10 hours a day, which would be split up, and I don't even think they can go that long. That's another thing you have to look at for your SAG and AFTRA rules for children, because they are who sets the rules. They tell you when the breaks need to happen and all of that, and that can also be um, something that inhibits a director or a producer from using children in their productions because there are specific rules they have to follow, tutors and things like that. But let's say you or your child gets into a national commercial, you film for 3 days, that commercial is filmed and then broadcast over cable networks and internet for all of the states or in region, the Northeast or the Northwest. That can be upwards of $30,000. I mean, in some cases, I've heard of much, much more than that. So if you are thinking about, what do these types of things pay? How long does it take? That's kind of a good basic base to start from. Now, background work is a huge deal, and I think that that is a great way to get your kid into the business and yourself to kind of see how things work and how it goes. Background castings happen usually in all markets. I mean, in each state, I believe there's probably agencies that will help you to find background work. How does it work? Basically, you are called in, and they call them cattle calls for a reason because you are herded like cattle through these auditions and these situations. Even when you then book the job, you may be herded into small areas where there's seating and there's food set up and things like that. Sometimes they pay $100, $150 a day, and you and your kid would be there. Now, one of the big things that I've heard a lot from kids having been on sets is that the fact that now they can't have iPads and phones is a huge consideration because, as we all know, I mean, I don't know any kids that don't sit and play on their iPad and, phones and stuff all day long when they have, extra time. So that's going to be a bit of a hurdle for you if that is the main source of their entertainment and their free time. So you really need to think about, what will I do if I take my child on a set for, let's say, 5 hours and no phones or iPads are allowed? What are they going to do? Now, you may be asking, why don't they allow them to be there? Well, because they don't want information, photos, videos of that production getting out and being leaked because they want to be in control of all of that. So, of course, that's why they don't allow devices and things on a set. So, keep that in mind. Now, a television series or a Netflix series or something of that nature. That is what we would call regular work. If your child is cast in a television series, that means that they are working regularly, weekly. So they may go in on Monday and do a table read. They may do rehearsals Tuesday and Wednesday. There might be rewrites and a re-rehearsal. Then there's blocking, which is figuring out where you're going to stand. Then there's the cameras and all of that kind of stuff, and then the actual filming day. Sometimes they film more than one episode in one day. Again, all of those child rules come into play for the SAG and AFTRA stuff. So again, if you didn't hear me earlier say it, go to sagaftra.org to be able to look up all of that information. Films, of course, we know, movies, that's going to be a huge commitment. It's a time commitment. Sometimes it can be 3 months, 5 months, 8 months, who knows, depending on what and where they are filming. Um, with films, of course, you're going to get paid a good amount of money. If the child has lines, that's where the money really will come in. And if it is a big budget film and it's going to be released nationally, internationally, I mean, obviously, that's when you get into, like, major money and fame. That, however, I believe is not a great goal to have. Money and fame is fleeting in this business, even to those people who manage to get it. It's fleeting to them too. So, really, I believe my personal opinion is that if you are getting your kid into the business, try to get them to see the beauty in the process and not necessarily look only toward that outcome of absolute success, meaning money and fame. You can be successful in this business and nobody knows who you are. I mean, you can do industry films. That's another area that you might want to think about. If you've ever worked for a corporation and seen the training films that they have, there are oftentimes actors used in those films in order to get across information and communicate to new employees, etc. And those can pay pretty well, especially if you get known by the companies that do them for many different people. You can really be booked many, many times to do those types of things. Professional live theater. That is also something that I think offers great experience to kids. If you have a community theater, just getting up in front of an audience, learning lines, figuring out how to work with other people in that environment will be immensely helpful as they grow into the film industry. So if they go from theater to film, it's often an easier jump because for theater, you need to kind of have a lot more energy, a lot more animation. And for film, you're bringing it back. So they kind of go into it knowing a lot and having to kind of manipulate that. So it can be really great. Reality TV is something that has, it's been around for 25, 30 years, but really, there is things like game shows even are considered live. I'm sorry, reality TV. So if your agency, let's say you sign with MTM after your sessions at JC, and you really, want to be considered for any game shows, things like that, it is considered reality TV and it is considered to be non-union. So that's also another great thing. Non-union jobs are the jobs that you can go out for right now. You don't need to be in the union to do non-union jobs, obviously. And now influencers. This is something that's only come up over the last 5 to 10 years. But influencers, kids who are entrepreneurs on social media, basically, they own their business. Um, Not only is it a great thing for if a kid is really interested in it, but it's a great teaching tool. It's a great way to get experience on camera. Even what I'm doing right now is experience on camera, looking into a camera, speaking to people who are watching. So think about that for your kids. Even if they don't want to publish anything on social media, you can record yourself doing YouTube videos, showing you the instrument you play, talking about your passions and the things that you love, your animals, whatever, and really use that as a tool to learn how to grow your entertainment capabilities. You get paid usually by products. If you do decide to publish and go public with that type of information and those types of recordings, you can make money. You can be sponsored. As you can see by simply going online and you can Google, young influencers making a lot of money, and you'll get lists and lists. If you just go on TikTok, you can see hundreds, if not thousands, of young people who are making money with social influencing careers based on their sponsorship and all that. But don't let that fool you that it looks like so easy that you're just kind of in your bedroom and you're talking about your favorite products. Those people have to work very hard to come up with interesting new content, to figure out what they're doing, scheduling their time, making sure that they're saying the right things. So it is just as difficult as any of the other. However, in this instance, you can create, produce, star in all of your own content. So it can be helpful. And like I said, even if you don't publish, even if you don't go public with it, it is a worthwhile endeavor to start getting your kids on camera doing little videos, 30 seconds to 60 seconds, talking about their favorite animal, their favorite sport, their favorite product, whatever it is, just to start getting that, experience. The other great part of that is that they can see themselves on camera. This is one of the hardest things in this business when people are getting started, is looking at yourself speaking and moving on camera, because people are like, no, I don't want to see it, no, please. But the reality is that the only way that you learn how the product works, and you are the product, is by seeing yourself on camera and seeing how you work and what you sound like and all of that. So keep that in mind. um, A couple other things I wanted to mention to the parents out there is there are certain things, Child Performer Protection Act, you can also look that up, and it should be on the SAG-AFTRA site, also for you. There are different things that you can do to research your local areas to find out if productions are coming to your areas. There's something called the mediaservices.com/production map of incentives. That's the USA map. I think that's actually where it is, not on the SAG-AFTRA. And you can go in there and find out what's coming to your area, who to speak to about movies being filmed in your area, and that type of thing. Doing your own research in a lot of ways can really help you a lot. Now, I was able to find some really cool videos of celebrities as kids doing auditions. So I've shown them before, but not these specific ones. Today, I'm going to just show you, it's about 3 minutes, and it shows people like Scarlett Johansson, Tom Holland, and a few other people doing their very first auditions for their TV shows, movies, things that they started out with. So let's take a look at it. It's really interesting and fun.
Well, thief, I smell you. I can hear your breath. So why don't you show yourself? You seem very familiar with my name, but I do not remember smelling one of your kind before. Who are you, and where do you come from, may I ask? Oh, yes, Barrel Rider. You may walk unseen, but you did not walk all the way on your own. I ate 6 ponies last night, and I shall catch and eat all the others before long.
Forget about the stupid game. Now close it up and put it away. Must have microchips in it or something. I've got $67.08.
That'll get you to New York. Where are you going to go after that?
Someplace where I don't have to go to the moron school.
Hey, I'm Miley Cyrus, and I'm 12 years old.
He had a birthday like 6 weeks ago.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I don't have to tell you this. It's not his birthday. It's his puppet's birthday.
Model Camaro and my track. Was and does hanging loose and proud.
No, mommy.
I can only imagine what it is you're going through.
It was crazy. I guess when you can do what I can do, maybe you have a responsibility to do some good with it. Okay then.
God, I don't want to jump the gun. Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay.
Yeah, I love adventure.
Wow. You were here 5 minutes ago.
I know, but I've dreamed about this for so long, and I still can't believe that I work here.
So, what do you know about me?
Well, I know you don't have a girlfriend, and I know you like to read a lot, which is why I brought you this.
Ah, a book that smells like cheese. I'm more into books that smell like meat.
Well, I hear if you wait a month, it's coming out on pepperoni bag.
I'm gonna have to ask you to leave now.
Yeah, I'll take my comedy card on the way out.
First, Tom was
All right. Well, so there are many, many more options for you to see. If you really like watching those videos, just Google famous actors before they were famous, audition videos, and you can see them for hours if you want. I think it's really interesting because you can see the growth of people as they go on in the business, especially when they start young. So if you have a kid and you are looking to get into the business, or they are expressing information or an interest in the business, and you want information on how to really get started, you can always contact us at jcasablancas.com. My name is Dwayne. I've been with John Casablancas since 2007. And obviously, I'm jumbling my words because I'm doing 4 different things at once. But thank you guys for watching. I hope that I gave you some useful information. And next time on July 31st, Monday, I do have 4 guests scheduled. I'm hoping that they can make it. Like I said, if you have a kid in the business, you have to be ready to kind of go at all times. If your agent says there is an audition or you've been booked for something, you may need to run and cancel your interview with someone like me. So thanks for watching. Keep watching JC Live, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much.